See if it's going to be a possibility. And of course, Zed, it is a champion that we have seen Ocelot play in the past.
We have indeed. First two bans coming out here though. Kha'Zix for SK, Nasus for Gambit. See what SK go for you for their second ban.
So they banned out
Alex.
They banned out Shen and Zac in the previous matchup. We know that Kevin Shen is really, really good. He's got, you know, a great presence in that top lane. He's got great survivability. And you can see right now they're banning out Zac this time around. Previously, their second ban was Shen. So they're trying to force Gambit's hand. And I think their first pick may be Shen if it slips through.
Well, let's see. Twisted Fate taken out. Bad flashbacks that Gambit have to that Ocelot Twisted Fate from week 9 of the European LCS. That's not going to be involved this time around. Let's see what SK spend their third ban on.
They could think about Thresh. They could think about Zed. They could even think about Elise. You know, it was another pretty influential champion from Darren. He pulled a lot of people away, and he landed some very good cocoons in the previous matchup. And actually, they're going to ban Shen away. So they've got something else in mind, but that means all of the champions we've just mentioned, they're still available.
Yeah, Rumble going to be the final ban out here from Gambit. And, well, Kevin didn't have the biggest of impacts with Rumble in that last game, but if he does have a good game with Rumble, you can bet your bottom dollar that he will be making an impact on it. So we are going to see that ban out here for Gambit, which means there's a lot open
Jarvan
for SK.
So Jarvan is free if they want to lock that in for Hercubot. You have Zed. You know, Twisted Fate was banned out. You still have Kale. So Varus is there. Thresh is there. The world is SK's oyster, and they need to decide what they want to pick. What do they value the most? And in actual fact, it's going to be Elise. So this could be support Elise, which is something we've been seeing Nif do many, many times in the past.
Oh,
and Diamond's taking it away.
That's such typical Gambit style, right? We leave Jarvan open for you, but you pick Elise, bam, Jarvan. Insta-lock there for Diamond, and also the Thresh. So, Thresh with Edward, the Thresh Prince. I don't agree with it.
We'll see how it works.
He's an impact play with that Thresh.
If he lands his abilities half as effectively as he did his crescendos, that single pick could seal the deal.
Yeah.
You know, they could pretty much run away with it. Now when you you know, add into the fact that Genji's going to want to play Misfortune most likely again, you add the box in there, you add Cataclysm in there, and you put bullet time on top of it, that's arguably even more effective than a crescendo.
Yeah, I would agree with you with that one as well. SK Gaming then, what are they going to be picking up? You know, the jungle's kind of free roll right now. They could lock this one in here and prioritize more like the mid lane for later on. And it looks like they will get that jungler in with Nautilus again. So
SK are going to decide who they want to run as the AD carry. They had Varus in the previous matchup. They can make a decision to run maybe something like Ashe. That is what they ran a little while ago as well as far as the AD carries are concerned. And as we've mentioned, you know, Zed was let through. It slipped through. They don't want it going over to Alex. So instead, Ocelot has decided to lock that in for himself. So that could be Kevin taking it. That could also be Ocelot in the mid lane. They haven't revealed it 100%. I'm fairly confident that that will be Nif on support Elise.
Yeah, I think so too as well. I mean, we've seen it from him in the previous weeks as well. So we'd bet on that one for sure. Let's see what Gambit will go for now. You see Alex scratching his chin, which usually means deep in thought.
Renekton might be a possibility. We've seen Darren playing Renekton a lot, and in terms of his picks, we said at the beginning it was Renekton, it was Shen, it was Elise. So with the fact that, you know, one is banned, one is picked, that wouldn't surprise me. I also think it would work very well. Diving in with Jarvan, having that sort of dive buddy composition. If it's going to be Malphite being locked in, it'll fill a very similar role. It's going to be that initiating power, going to be diving very, very far forward. And that's a very, very tanky lineup coming out of Gambit right now. All of the souls that Thresh is going to be collecting will buff up his armor. Jarvan is naturally beefy and tanky. He's got the built-in shield. Malphite has got that built-in shield as well. And they're just going to help survive all of that burst that Zed's going to be putting down.
That indeed. Ezreal being hovered over by Candy Panda. Didn't have his greatest of games yesterday. Wow, it's not been that long. He didn't have his greatest games in game number 1 with that Varus, and obviously, well, he can't pick it this time. It's already over with Genja. It looks like he may go for the Ezreal instead. And what else? We already said that we're thinking that this Elise is going to end up being with Nif, so from that, you'd maybe expect the top laner here for Kevin. Yeah, that would be the logical choice, yeah. In this case, what it's going to be, it does mean that Kevin's going to be taking Zed in that top lane, and we'll most likely see Ocelot playing Castellan in the mid lane. It's something we have seen a lot. What I do like about this lineup is they've got a lot of abilities to dodge spells. And I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I got baited for a second because I got excited at the idea, but we'll see how this pans out. What you do have from the side of SK Gaming, with the exception of Nautilus, and a little bit of him,
they can jump out of abilities. You can use your arcane shift. You can rift walk away, which means you can get out of a cataclysm, which means you can dodge the hooks. And if your reactions are quick enough, you can even dodge those unstoppable forces. So I very much like that combination, and I'm quite happy to see the Renekton being locked in, if this does get locked in, because it is something that we see Darien playing a lot, and it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup in the top lane of that Ninja versus the Crocodile.
Yeah, and of course that would leave then Malphite most probably to go into this middle lane to take on Kassadin. And it looks like it will be the Renekton coming in here. Gambit was still in conversation about that one, but with those that time ticking down, it will be locked in there, and that is Gambit getting things sorted out then.
So the composition from Gambit I very much like, because they have 4 champions that are going to be diving in there. Threshka is going to land the hook, he's going to pull himself in. Malphite's going to dive in. Jarvan's going to dive in. Renekton's going to dive in. And Genji's just going to sit there saying, I'm here, guys. Let me hold them in place for you with Chain of Corruption. He's not playing Misfortune, which I feel would have been fantastic in this composition. You know, just lay down that bullet time on top. But because of the mobility of his opponents, he probably wouldn't have hit them all.
Yeah, that's the problem in there as well. So we'll see how that Chain of Corruption goes down. Canny Panda going to be picking, as we said, Ezreal this time around. Definitely needs to step things up from game number 1. I think that's no secret, and Canny Panda himself will probably agree with us on that one, that they have to step up as a team here. And we heard it from Ocelot that Gambit are really, there's Gambit A and Gambit B, and Gambit A is a team that you're going to have to sweat and probably bleed to take down in the end. Really hard work. You also have the Gambit who don't turn up super focused and practice as Gambit B, but we're in the semi-finals here. This is Gambit A.
When there's something to play for, you can see it in the Gambit playstyle, just how much more focused they are, how much more on point they are with everything that they do. And in that first game, they were looking fantastic. Game number 2, I also like their composition because of the amount of crowd control that they have. If they can get ahead, they have the ability to maintain that lead. The one thing they don't have is the ability to come back, because if Zed and Kassadin start destroying you, there's nothing you're going to do against that. Once you fall behind an assassin team with Zed, with Elise, with Kassadin, it's very, very difficult to stay alive and to bring it back. And the last time we seen the Zed Kassadin combo was actually against Kevin. He was playing Singed, and it was Fnatic that tormented him and destroyed him. And they've got a very similar, you know, let's camp some, let's kill them, let's blow them up instantly and have a 5 versus 4 for the rest of the fight.
Well, we are going to get into game 2 then. It's SK taking on Gambit here. Of course, SK switching over to the blue side for this one. Getting that first ban and first pick in. And Gambit on the red side, which has not had the been the luckiest of sides, I think we can say. 100% win rate for the blue side in our semi-final and yesterday's quarter-final. 7
losses if you were on the red side and you were counting. Is this going to be number 8, or will SK break the trend? I'm very excited to see Diamond Prox on Jarvan. He arguably took this away from his opposite number. Had the ability to pick a number of champions and decided to play Jarvan instead. So we'll see how this pans out. We obviously know how effective Jarvan can be at those early level ganks. And when combined with the CC of the rest of his lanes, it can add up to some early kills. So we'll see how this pans out. An early pink ward goes down, but SK are well aware of this.
Oh, Cocoon has landed here on towards Edward, though. Is he going to be able to escape? Well, he's going to flash away, but now they get Genja. He's going to surely have to go for the similar thing here. Does have that flash. Very, very patient. Didn't use it in the end.
No, so he manages to get away with his summoner spells, and very importantly to note, Genja has taken Exhaust, so he is afraid of Ocelot or Kevin jumping onto him, and he's going to be relying on that Exhaust to probably stay alive in some of these engagements. But we do see that a very early pink ward's actually down, and this may even signal a very, very early dragon if they've gone for all of this additional vision very early on. So we'll see if that actually pans out.
Well, we'll see. It's already a good chunk of cash to be putting down in towards 2 pink wards. See how that one all works out. The starts here, Hercubot, as is becoming tradition for him, starting down by the golems. We'll see Alex, Genja and Edward sharing the experience of the Wolves.
So there's just sharing, you know, just giving everybody the advantages that they can. It does look like the lanes are going to be set up in a traditional sense for the time being. I'd like to see where Genja's going to go. They may decide to try shut down, Ocelot's Kassadin. So really, really make his life very, very difficult. Alex may actually even pick up this blue buff and then teleport to the bottom lane to try and CS and go 1v2.
Yeah, getting very, very low from that one, but of course he's going to be recalling after taking this blue buff anyways. But we'll see how that impacts everything down in the bottom lane. Did start with the cloth armor and the pots in there as well, so Let's see how that one goes. There's Diamond just throwing down the flag into the blue buff, so he knows that blue buff wasn't taken, and they're going to spot Nautilus on the bottom side here. That may be a signal. Yep, Diamond is going to be going in to try and take the blue.
Such great early game play here from Gambit, taking every advantage possible. They're aware of their opponent's positions. They not only give themselves the advantageous lane setups, they're denying their opponents of objectives now as well. So first blue buff steal is going to go to Diamond Prox. He didn't have his smite available, so he's just going to clear that one out. And Ocelot already starting to feel the pain of this 2v1 lane. Well, when Thresh gets there.
Yeah, hopefully not too much pain though if you're an SK Gaming fan. See how well they could shut him down there. Candy Panda and Nif, of course, going to be going up against a blue-buffed Alexich in this bottom lane. But in terms of tactics and a set plan for a level 1, that was just so good from Gambit.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. They used their vision perfectly. They denied their opponents. And like we said, they've got the advantage right now. So we'll see how Alex does farming up under the tower. And they've caught Ocelot.
Yeah, there's the hook coming in on towards Ocelot. He's actually going to flash away, but the Ignite is ticking away. And there's a snipe from Genja. First blood to Gambit.
That is a level 2 tower dive from, Genja and Edward, and such a great play. They are number 3 and number 4 as far as KDA was concerned in the spring split. But look at Diamond Prox. He wants blood.
He does want blood. He's going to get in here. Does get that slow down on towards Nif. Nice cocoon, but now they focus towards Candy Panda. He, of course, does have already a point in that arcane shift to get away. And look at this. Ocelot back into lane, and not for long.
He burned his teleport to get into lane to try and not lose CS. As soon as he appeared, it looked like the hook landed. So Edward manages to pull him out, and Ocelot's back in lane with 50% less health. Hercubot, you've seen him on camera for a brief second trying to set something up as the Rock is going to chase the Spider.
Yeah, they're going to go in towards Nif again. Candy Panda then became the focus as we are seeing Ocelot and Hercubot chasing off towards Edward and Genja, but this is just going to be a case of walking away scot-free. And Gambit looking so good. And one thing that we didn't talk about really in the best of 3 situation is, the way that SK really function, and that is, Ocelot is a very emotional player, which when they're in the lead is a great thing for the team. When they're behind, can actually work against them. Yeah,
they're a snowball team effectively. If things snowball well, then they continue going that way. If it starts negatively, however, it can, impact them badly. I do want to touch on that bottom lane gank that we've seen out of Diamond Prox going on to Candy Panda and Nif, because they handled it perfectly. The cocoon landed on Diamond Prox, which prevented him getting the red buff onto anybody. And on the retreat, Candy Panda landed so much free damage that it dissuaded any sort of additional gank or additional pressure. So they handled that very well, and they're keeping up in CS with their opposite numbers. So Kevin maybe in a little bit of trouble. Darren does not have Ignite. He burned it earlier, but he's gone in.
He's going in for this one, but actually, just as quickly as he goes in, he will slice and dice his way back out towards, back out to safety. So you just see there that Darren is not afraid of getting involved underneath those towers. Also, Kevin did have Flash and Ignite available for that one, so Darren definitely didn't want to go too far in. There's Ocelot still being pressured in that middle lane.
And you have to give props here to Kevin, because not only did he survive the pressure in the top lane, he survived the Ignite, and he survived Darien using his Elixir of Fortitude. He still has his. He still has his Flash. He still has his Ignite. And he's even on CS, or is a 4 difference. So very, very well played by Kevin to, deal with all that additional pressure and actually come out ahead because he has his Summoner Spell and items available. You do see Ocelot at the moment. He's still even on CS as far as Alex is concerned, but obviously with a Cassin, you do want to get as many items quickly in order to blow people up.
Yeah, and he's going to get, he needs to get to level 6 for that safety. And there we see blue buff. Just now, Hercubot checking it out.
So
6.5 minutes in.
7 minutes on the clock. That means it's going to delay the spawn. What it does mean is they now have the timing on it. So at the very least, they'll be well aware of when it is going to respawn. And because it's going to be a somewhat awkward time, it's actually earlier than what the normal third spawn would be, around about 11 minutes. They may be able to pick it up, and Alex has been stunned.
Wow, they're going to dive him here underneath the turret. This could be a risky play. Nif, he's going to come down right underneath the tower as well. He's taking hits from it. Is he going to die? Yes, he is. Alexich coming out brilliantly from this one, and he's going to keep going here on towards Candy Panda. The pot's running down. Is he going to be able to get the kill? There's the cleanse. Alex going very low, will flash away from this one. Candy not following up. Crazy stuff.
Here comes Edward.
It's level 6 there, and will put the unstoppable force down, and there is the kill from Alexich.
It's not over. Hercubot looks like he's going in the middle.
Yeah, Ocelot there trying to put the pressure onto Genja, but he gets slowed up a bit. The question, will Hercubot be able to get him? He's going to flash. There's a chain of corruption put down, but can Genja escape? He's going to be forced to flash away over the wall from this one. And Hercubot, of course, did already use that flash, won't follow in. But Alexic there in that bottom lane, underneath the tower, manages to get around it enough to kill Nif, and then hits level 6 right in time to go straight in onto Candy Panda. Amazing.
If anybody doubted Alexic's performances, that is going to quell them. But Darien has been caught out.
He may get caught, but Diamond coming into this top lane as well. They're going to focus around on towards Hercubot. He's going very low, and they've got the health to go under the turret, which they will. And Kevin has to flash back away as well. Darien decides, at least for now, not to quite dive in onto him there. Ocelot will be coming up towards his top lane to try and save things, but Darien is chasing down. This could be a problem for him in the long run, but Kevin already got a lot of health back there from those pots. There's a ward down by Darien just to see if he can get in, but he's going to at least take away these minions before they get to tower.
A little bit earlier, I was talking about Kevin and how well he was doing on CS. Now he is behind and he's being denied even more. Darien's caught him out and I don't know what he's doing.
I do not understand that whatsoever, Quick Shot.
So Kevin wanted to get back up to tower and try to get in range to at least stay alive, get the experience, maybe get some gold, but he walked right next to Darien. I don't know if he just he underestimated the range, if he thought he could flash it. You know, it was a very, very questionable move, and it's given Darien his second kill of the game. Gambit on a 5-0 up, 3,000 gold almost at the 9-minute mark, and they're just looking terrifyingly good.
At this point of the game, it's not looking like much of a game, is it? Let's be honest. Gambit are putting out a AAA performance at this stage of things, as we are going to be seeing Jarvan maybe getting involved on towards that middle lane.
Now we do see as the bottom, you can see Edward moving in there. Unstoppable Force is available. Ocelot forced to Riftwalk to safety as the first tower goes down in the top lane. But what I like about the timing from Edwin in that bottom lane, he arrived literally the second that Unstoppable Force was available. So we may actually see Alex going deep again. Instead, he's going to be pulled out and started it with the Dragon.
Yep, Dragon kicked off, and Alex pulled in at Lantern, gaining a nice bit of ground for him. And this Dragon, not going to be contested here, maybe a true shot barrage, but I doubt that Candy Panda will even go for that one in this situation. And nope, that is picked off. Kevin actually pushing this top turret out, but he won't get much chance there because Renekton's coming back in. Yeah, so Renekton's going to rejoin the party with a Brutalizer, a Ruby Crystal, as well as that Doran Shield available. Kevin is relying entirely on his positioning here. He has no more tower to fall back to, nor does he have boots to run away. And you can see with that pressure, Edward, he's trying to look for the death sentence and almost catches him. But another hook-throwing man, Hercubot's Nautilus, has snuck up into that top bush. So if Darien does stick around, Deathmark is available for Kevin. They may have enough damage. You're just going to have to see if they decide to go in on this one. Darien looks like he can smell that one a mile away. Tanking up the minions in there as well, so that lane doesn't push right back at them. We are going to see Genji here going for the snipe down towards Ocelot. Ocelot's had a tough time in things in the middle lane, but he's actually ahead of Alexic in CS at least. Of course, Alex got those 2 kills in that bottom lane as Darien here does put some damage down on towards Kevin and will slice and dice away from the dredge line. Again, brilliant.
So crucial that he managed to get away from that one. Hercubot just throwing it a little bit to the right. He's going to recall, and that means they can't get themselves on the board as far as kills are concerned. So, Darien again manages to get away. That was a 1 versus 2 that he managed to escape. Ocelot is under a little bit of pressure. We've seen a tower dive already. And Edward and Genja putting so much hurt onto him.
You see there, just attacking him underneath the tower, taking the Lantern out of the range of the tower as well. They just look so coordinated. And here we go. They are going to go in there. The box down on towards Hercubot. It was Ocelot that they were really aiming for with that one, but they're playing the range perfectly in this one currently. And, well, Ocelot is going to try and back away, and there's the snipe just to stop the recall.
Such great play. Edward and Genja just denying so much experience and so much abilities. We see in the top lane, Kevin is feeling in Diamondprox, wants to steal away the blue buff. It is just respawn as we were talking about, but they've jumped onto Hercubot instead.
Yeah, going to get the knock up here as well from Jarvan, and Hercubot not going to escape this one. Did use Cataclysm in the end. There's a hook through the wall. Nif is in all kinds of trouble. The chain of corruption landed as well. And we talked about Gambit not having the best performances at the end of the week, but they've been boot camping. They should have been doing that for 11 weeks already.
Nif makes the mistake of trying to get vision, and he is sentenced to death there by Gambit. That's the 7th kill on the board. It's such great play. Gambit are everywhere. They are taking buffs, they are pushing towers, they are taking dragons, they are picking up kills. There is nothing that they are doing that you can criticize right now. Now we see Ocelot, he may even be caught up. The silences on Edward. Is he going to get the death sentence? It catches Kevin.
No, but we are going to see Ocelot actually going in there anyway. Kevin is down to about half as well, as we are going to see Edward just walk away from this one. In the meantime, Genja is sniping here from underneath the turret. Hercubot tries to come into cover, and Ocelot almost died from that one. Darian coming in now around the side. Maybe a little bit too much, a bit too deep here for Darian, but he is the crocodile. After all, the slow out of Genja will stop them chasing.
Cannot believe he managed to get away in that particular setup. And you see in the bottom lane, Ezreal was able to take down that bottom tower. Take a look at his build as well. He's picked up the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. That's a teleport down. They want Darian.
They want Darian, but with what damage do they want Darian? Ocelot has right now really gotten on to her right home about, and Darian may turn around. In fact, he will. Ocelot will rift walk away from that one. Incredible game.
So well played from Gambit. They do lose that tower in the bottom lane, and as I was mentioning, that Elder of the Spirit Lizard, it's something that we see out of Ezreal's when they tend to build that is it Iceborne Gauntlets, and go for that really harassy, pokey, annoying control build. So we'll see how well Candy Panda can itemize towards that, because he is so far behind in comparison with the rest of the Gambit team. If we can have a look at the gold, we'll see exactly what those numbers are, because it's 7,000 gold right now between them. He's 1,300 behind. That's a sheen difference, which is what he's most likely going to pick up as his next item.
Yeah, Alexic also around about 2,000 or 1,500 gold ahead right now, as we are going to see Ocelot going low there in the middle lane once again. And to be honest, Genja, with his piercing arrows, has been so good. He's hit a lot more than he's missed, that's for sure. And he's caused so many problems to Ocelot just with them alone.
And thanks to the positioning and the kills that he has, he's even got that blue buff now. So he's been spamming them out even more. 126 CS, he's keeping up with his opponents, in addition to the amount of poke that he's putting down. And Edward, knowing that they've got such good position, he actually starts off the red buff himself, and it's going to be given away. True Shot Barrage goes down. It looks like Candy Panda stole that. They may actually want to pick this fight.
Yeah, stole in terms of secured his own buff there, because of course that's Gambit inside of the SK jungle. Edward, as a support, just wandering around in that side of his opponent's jungle and taking that one away. And it's not looking good. 7-0 in kills, 2-1 in turrets. Alex is now pushing this bottom lane out. Let's have a look at the turret itself, see how much health it's got. Well, it's not taking too much damage, and there's not much of a wave here with Alex. That'll be fixed here momentarily as the next one starts to come in. He does, he is, I should say, almost up towards that Sunfire Cape at this point. Got the Ninja Tabby in here as Darian is going to go on towards Kevin. Pops the ultimate here. Will Kevin be able to escape? He's 2 levels lower than what Darian is. Uses his flash again.
So it does manage to force him out of the lane. Darian's picking a fight, but it's not over yet as Kevin just gets dunked on.
Well, they thought it was all over, and it was. And that bottom turret is going to die as well. We've got the Alexic, the Malphite in that bottom lane. He's going to be taking that outer turret, as I mentioned earlier on. We can see Candy Panda here getting whatever he can from his own jungle before it gets taken by Gambit.
There's absolutely nothing that SK can do right now. It's something that we said, if they get ahead, it's going to be difficult, because they have an assassin comp. They have a composition that relies on killing their opponents, and if you can't kill your opponents, your composition doesn't work, and that's the key problem here. They've, again, fallen too far behind too early on. And my word, I don't think anybody expected this semi-final to be this close after seeing how badly SK... that's not close.
I was going to say, which one are you watching?
How SK defeated them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This one-sided, it's just a complete stomp here for Gambit.
Well, that's the interesting thing about it as well, and Alex mentioned that in the pre-game interview, that whenever these two teams seem to meet, they're one-sided affairs in whichever way. Obviously, SK have only beat them 1 out of 12 games that they've played with that 11-0 run that Gambit were on. They won first game here, Gambit, but they're looking even more impressive this time around. 8 kills up, 8 ton of gold, almost 10,000 gold in the lead.
Yeah, it's massive numbers, ludicrous numbers even. Alex, at the moment, he's gone back, he's finished that Sunfire Cape. Oh, in the mid lane, they've caught Hercubot.
Yeah, there's the hook. The box is going to go down. Chain of Corruption and a dead. Hercubot, everything lands.
Edward pulled Hercubot back onto the box. He used the flay to get him back within range. Now Ocelot may want to pick this fight because Nip is there and Genja is just going to wait. Didn't even use the lantern, but he's run into a Kevin. Genja may give up the first kill here.
This may just be that first kill, or maybe not, as he actually will flash over the other side. Finally does die to the Ignite. Ocelot going to get away, and rightly so, because the rest of Gambit... Oh, what a hook onto Nif there, was almost out of range. In comes Jarvan as well, and they pick up another kill from it. That was ludicrous.
1 for 1 at the end of that. Teleport was used from Alex. He has distortion boots on, so that means the cooldown is going to be available very, very soon. Genja was caught out. It's a first kill of the game, and it does go to Kevin, who has been struggling in that top lane. He is 70 CS behind his opponent. Now we see Darren. He's caught Ocelot, and the look of that damage.
What does caught mean at the end of the day when you're this fed, though? Darren only just now down to half HP as he flashes over the wall and probably laughs at his opponent. Sniff being tracked down here by Alex. Are they going to keep going? Diamond is at the backside. Alex is going to have to flash away. Candy Panda goes in. There's the ultimate coming out of Hercubot as Alex does finally die in the end there, but I'm not sure that Hercubot's going to escape. Candy Panda on the bottom side of things was very, very low as he hooks himself over onto the terrain, but here comes Jarvan. Knock up lands. Darian is there as well. It's Diamond that gets the kill, and that will be a 12-2 lead for Gambit.
Gambit are just everywhere. Every single thing that they touch turns out to be an advantage for them. Now, 4 members of Gambit are barreling down this mid lane. Look at Edward's position. He's got Ocelot.
He's got the hook onto Ocelot. Ocelot just about manages to get away as Kevin now is going to go for Edward. Candy Panda there as well, but the rest of Gambit starting to close in. And, well, they took that inner turret. That's what they were looking for, but we talked about Edward and why you don't give him Thresh. And we've seen it already a few times.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Europe play Korea at the All-Star match. It is going to be Edward versus Mad Life in a month's time, and I cannot wait to see that matchup. I pray to God that they let Thresh through, because I want to see both of them match up in that game.
I don't even know what to expect from that one. It'll probably be a letdown. That's how much we're really hoping on that game after what we've seen from Mad Life in the past.
Don't be a pessimist.
What I am always being that way. And what we've seen from Edward here, absolutely insane stuff coming out of Edward. And the rest of Gambit, look at those scores. 3-0-4 on Darian, 3-0-3 on Diamond, 3-1-1 on Alex, 2-1-2 Genja, and 1-0-5 for Edward. I feel a bit sad for Edward because he's only been able to steal one of those kills.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying hard enough to get the kills, to be honest. I do feel that he could have secured a few more of them. We'll see whether or not that plays up. Truthfully, SK are doing the best that they can in a bad situation. They have champions and items that cannot overcome their opponents, and it's the reason that they are losing every single one of these engagements. The amount of tankiness and survivability on their opposites is just too much to overcome with the limited items that they have. If by some miracle they can survive to late, they will be able to pick kills up, but this is now a matter of staying alive rather than securing a win, if that's the case.
And it's gone pear-shaped for them very quickly. I mean, I was thinking back to 10 minutes ago, maybe, when we were talking about how Ocelot and Alex each are pretty much level on CS. Look at it now, 74 to 144. Pretty much Ocelot has the same items that he had back then when we were talking about what he has with that Catalyst and the tier in there.
Take a look at the gold numbers right now. Edward is on 4,800 gold. That's higher than 3 of his 5 opponents' numbers. He has 500 gold less than Kevin, who's the solo top laner for SK Gaming. There's so much money there. Gambit have stacked up as a 3-man in this top lane. Teleport is available, so Alex can come to play whenever he wants to. SK want this fight, though, and they've got in.
Trying to get involved here. They're going to focus down Darian, but the rest of the team, the Cataclysm, comes in there as well. Hercubot is going to be the first one to fall. It's Varus that picks that. He will get the double kill as Elise Repel will drop Nif right back on top of them there. And ironically enough, Darian survived that one in the end with hardly any HP. The hook not quite there this time from Edward, although, to be fair, he was throwing it completely blind through the wall.
Yeah, it was just a tentative one, trying to see if anybody was defending that tower, so they didn't manage to touch anything. What we do see now is Gambit are stacking up around Baron. There's a 22-minute Baron, probably the 4th quickest Baron I think we've seen. They started the race. Edward is on the side, and he's lashed Ocelot. Can he get the death sentence down? That is the real question. Another piercing arrow hit.
Yeah. It's ridiculous how accurate Genja has been with those piercing arrows up till now. We can see their Baron down to a lot less than half HP, and that's going to be even worse in a second. That's going to go over towards Gambit as they actually stop for a little while. Come on, lads. There we go. Finished off. And that is another big chunk of gold. It's 13,000 gold. I almost said 1,300. That's almost in my dreams at this point because Gambit have come out. I think hot is not even hot enough for this scenario.
This is the equivalent of a first-round knockout if you were a boxing viewer. We do see Darren is thinking about going in there onto Candy Panda. We've seen how quickly he's shredding people down. In terms of our items outside of that build from Ezreal, we don't see anything super exciting here. The distortion boots on a flash teleport mid is not exactly, you know, game-breaking or game-changing, but we do see Genja once again prioritizing that bloodthirst. So we see a flash over the wall, but they're even scared of Genja.
Yeah. I mean, thing is, if Genja's there, chances are the rest of Gambit are shortly following him in there, and they do both flash away from that one. Here is Darian up in the middle of that SK jungle. Looks like they're going to throw everything at him, but does he care? He's actually going to be pulled away there. The box not going to catch too many of them, but Diamond goes in, a cataclysm onto 4 men. There is a chain of corruption as well, and this is going to be a whitewash as he spreads to Ocelot, stops him moving away. He finally tries to get out. Double kill for Renekton. Elise is going to come down right on top of them, and that will be the ace finished off, and a surrender from SK Gaming. Gambit crushed them here in game number 2 of our second semi-final of the European LCS Spring Split playoffs, and we are going to be seeing Seed 1 versus Seed 2 in the grand final. Fnatic versus Gambit.
Fnatic are going to be quaking in their boots after seeing this performance, because how on earth do you stop a bulldozer? That was absolutely crushing, and what a performance from Gambit. 2-0 semi-finals. They are the second team to qualify for the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, and SK, I don't know what they're going to be feeling after this one. Of course, disappointment, but that was a scary Gambit that I wasn't expecting that kind of victory to come out of Gambit at this stage after what we've seen from him in the last couple of weeks. But hey, obviously, Constantine, the manager behind them, has been cracking that belt once again. Really got him in shape for this one.
You sit down to practice for just a day or two. That's all it is. That's all they've had practice for the whole of March. They've been traveling so much, they haven't really had chance. And you know, Alex has touched on it a number of times, saying we practice in our sleep. We haven't been able to do it. They've been here from, I think it was Tuesday they were here from. We saw them all in the practice room. And my God, did they look good. SK Gaming just didn't know what to do with that. I mean, how the hell? The hooks, everything they did was just perfection.
I have no words because you hit it right the head or the nail on the head. Whatever. I can't even say my phrases anymore because that game was just so ridiculously perfect. Wow. Actually, well, we only have like I mean, I just want to get straight into it because we only have really one replay to show.
I'm just.
Okay,
I think we could have probably put Joe on replay saying the hooks because they were landing every time, and they were just it was just a death would follow from Edward. He was landing everything that came in there, and honestly, Darian, he's normally like the bait, and everybody catches him and they get a kill, but you can't let him have Renekton because he's so strong in it still.
He could not die at all. We saw a couple of fights, actually. Well, one fight in particular on over towards the top lane where he dropped to like sub 50 health but still escaped in the end. And that would have been perfect for SK to pick up that kill because they can get back in the game a little bit. But unfortunately, they didn't. And he was able to escape. He does that many times. Actually, you even saw like Ocelot running away from it. It was just him, and it was like Ocelot and Hercubot. And they're like, we should probably stay away from that. We don't want to go up against that crocodile.
Yeah, but of course, we do have one replay, and it was really about, honestly, Captain Fantastic, I think it's safe to say. Alex, it's picked Malphite this time, goes the bottom lane, but still, you can't kill him.
Yeah, we just wanted to show you the replay again of where he gets the double kill bot lane, just to show you exactly what happens. I don't think we caught the very beginning of it, but still, it was a very good play out of Alex and a very good play out of Edward to come down at the right time, at the right moment. So let's get the replay on your screen, and we'll just play it for you. I don't even think we need commentary for this at all, so we can just watch it happen. Actually, whatever, we'll give you a little bit of commentary because it's going to be a little awkward if we don't. But you see them push up the lane, they have a nice, huge mini wave at the turret, and you see Nif tank the turret right there, but he gets slowed, he stays in a little bit too long, and Alex just tries to kite them. Its health pot is ticking the entire time, like, it was so perfect to pop that right at that moment. Nif flashes out, ends up dying, and of course, Alex with the chase, you see Thresh coming down from that middle lane, and Alex just, I was watching right here, and I was like, wow, he's committing quite far to this, thinking he could get the kill, and he ends up flashing away, but then you see him hit level 6, he ults right in. You see Edward with the nice lantern to give him that extra bit of health he needed, and they pick up that kill. That was just, that cannot happen. Like, you cannot be in a 1v2 situation, or a 2v1 situation, and die.
And that was just maybe SK trying to force the plays a little too hard there, but it's one of those champions. And the fact that he hit level 6, I think they were trying to rush it before he hit 6, clearly. That seemed to be what they were aiming for, but the tanking of the turret kind of backfired a little bit. and he repelled away. As soon as he came back down, I think there was the Ignite running, was it? That
No.
So immediately got the tower back on him?
He backed down, and then we saw Kenny Panda flash away. And I think the Ignite was ticking during that.
The Ignite was still
When
ticking,
Kenny
so
Panda
as soon as
flashed out of
Nif came back down, that's what I'm talking about. As soon as he came back down, the Ignite was still ticking, so the tower straightaway pulled back aggro onto him. Pretty unfortunate timing for the Ignite to tick the exact time you come back out of that repel, but, you know, whatever. What can you do? And, you know, the fact that, like you said, you can't do that. You can't dive someone on a turret and give them 2 kills. It used to be the thing against Jax.